Welcome to my very first screencast-o-matic. Today we're going to be talking about how activity 1.15, Reading Utopia, is going to help us on our next embedded assessment. So for the purposes of this activity, you just want to talk about what we're expecting to have done at the end. So at the end you should be able to say that you're able to examine a challenging text through a close reading. When we say challenging text, this text was written back in the 1500s, so that's a bit why that's partly why it's challenging. And a close reading, of course, is when we go through and we make sure that we understand exactly what it is that we're reading by using several different reading strategies. Very closely reading. And then the second thing you should be able to say is that you're able to evaluate the concepts in a written text. So evaluating what the author's message is throughout this text. What are we going to be expected to do? There's a part about a quick write on the concept of utopia. If you don't know that word yet, that's okay. We'll talk about it in a little bit. You're going to use metacognitive markers while you're reading a difficult text. So for example, when we read something that you're understanding completely, you'll put a little check mark next to it. Or if you still have questions on some of the vocabulary or the way that the author worded it, put a little question mark next to it. Metacognitive means that you are understanding how you are thinking. So you put a marker down in the reading to indicate how you are processing the text. And the last thing you're going to be expected to do, you're going to be expected to be able to discuss the text using the annotations that you've made in there. Okay, so taking a look at our next embedded assessment, here's what you're going to find. The skills and knowledge. Just like last time, the skills and knowledge you're going to need to be successful. So the first one, you have to be able to create a visual representation, and you're going to create a graphic novel this time like we talked about when we did our unpacking. You're going to have to illustrate the hero's journey. Remember those steps of the hero's journey? You're going to have to write a piece of reflective text and analyze the choices that you have made as you created this visual representation. So let's get started on Utopia. So as I mentioned to you before, Utopia was written by Thomas More. It was written in the year 1516. And in this story he talks about this island, fictional island that was called Utopia. And the main character is named Raphael, and he describes in this story the customs, politics, and belief of these people, and he thinks that the way of life that they have there is ideal. So in this story, he addresses the challenges of the society and explains how they handle these challenges. Okay? And as I said again, because it was written so long ago, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but we're going to work through it together. Alright, so before we begin, let's open up your Springboard books to page 58 and then look up the meaning of the word utopia to discover its meaning, history, and derivation.